Hey everybody. So what we got here is a honest review on the Vulcan series Omnipro 220. Great welder. Hands down, not gonna lie. I sold my boat to buy this welder and I wouldn't trade it for a thing. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So what we have is a very fair priced welder that goes all the way from beginner stage to far advanced stage. I myself have had this welder for almost a year, and I've been waiting to do the review just so I could get a little bit more under my belt as far as understanding it and really see the ins and outs and what it did over some heavy use. Because man, when I first got this, I was welding everything in sight just because I finally could. One of the greatest things about it is its simplicities, if you need it to be, and then also the fine tuning if you need it to be, and you have the capabilities and the understanding. You really can't go wrong either way. It's an all-in-one package. You have your MIG, which is, in my mind, one of the most popular. You can do flux, non-flux, and you can do multiple wire gauge sizes. You have your stick welder. So if you want to get into some of the different types of metals, or if you're in conditions that just would make TIG or MIG impossible, you usually can get away with stick. That aside though, you can also add an exterior spool gun if you want to get into like your softer welding, your softer metal welding, so bronze, aluminum. You can get your foot pedal, the TIG gun, the whole nine. It also comes with gas regulator. So once you start getting better and better and you want to add a little bit more professionalism, I guess you would say, or again, just different types of scenarios, it comes with the regulator. Then another great thing, its versatility as far as power supply is concerned. So when I have it here in the garage, I ran 220, so I obviously use 220. When I'm taking it out in the backyard to do stuff or over a friend's house, I mean, most people don't have 220. I have a generator that I'll take, but I'm only pushing 120. Now the shipping container project that you'll see in some of my other videos, I welded that entire thing together with 120, and it's been sitting there for 8 months, give or take, since I finished welding it. And regardless of other people's opinions and what you'll hear, read, and again, this is only my opinion, so take that for whatever it's worth. You can do virtually the same thing with 120 as long as you're doing it correctly. I mean, with that shipping container, each half weighs approximately 4,000 pounds. It's sitting 3 feet high up on 5 posts, cinder block foundation posts. And then I welded the seams together, the top and bottom. And that thing hasn't budged even an eighth of an inch in 8 months. And I've put 2 quads in it, a lawnmower in it, like a riding lawnmower, and a 2.5 ton Ford 8N with weighted wheels. So if anything was going to break, I feel it would have broke already. But again, welded the entire thing together on 120, a generator, and a inline to my fuse box 120. So both circumstances. That all aside, though, we'll get back to the welder itself. The programming and the capabilities of it is spot on. So, make sure. So what we have here, we'll go back to the home screen. So flux MIG is usually what I'm welding with. Then just regular MIG, no flux. Flux cord, stainless. MIG manual for you smarter people that know what you're doing. Spool gun, stick, TIG, and then your convenience settings. So whatever, units, brightness, screen, all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to go back to no gas. Then obviously regular here, CO2, so you can make your options. But then here's where we get into, you choose your wire diameter, nice and simple. Here. And then your thickness of your metals. Up, down, nice and easy. Confirm, and you're ready to go. So that's the basic setup. So then if you're just getting into welding for beginners, like this is where you would start. So you're at this screen and you start welding and you notice there's way too many sparks flying. So you're not getting a good weld. So you can come in here and fine tune your adjustment whichever way you need to, up or down. You can fine tune your voltage up, down, whatever way you need to. And that's kind of how I started learning with what settings are going to work best for whatever you're doing. And this gives you the capability to go to welding for dummies mode when you're just learning and you need to make adjustments but you don't even know where to start. This gives you a great idea of where to start, which is what I needed. Then where are we at? So I'm going to So obviously what comes in the box? Well, a damn welder better be in that box. But that aside, you have your MIG gun, grounder, regulator, we already went over that. So back here, gas inlet, easy peasy. Power input, so you have, it comes with two cords, your 220, your 120. My 120 and the stick thing are back in the shipping container. I didn't go grab it. But if you're looking at buying this, you already know what they look like, so I didn't really think it was that important. Okay. So like I was saying, you have your dummy settings and you have your, I already know what the hell I'm doing settings. So comes with a reel, spool, so you can put the bigger reels on there. And so you can do both the 2-pounders and, well, in my area, 2 and 10 pounders. You have your wire adjustment, and then they give you the wire, what do they call them? Oh god, I don't know what they call them. For your wire, when you're going through its size to like properly align the wire. And then you just make your fine-tune adjustments. But for those that are just starting, like all those are right here. So, I mean, you're not going to remember them. unless you've been doing this for a whole bunch of years, like you're not going to remember for all the different wire settings. So I love the fact that all that information is right here all the time. It's not coming off unless you sand it off. Your wire spool setup, always here all the time. Your duty cycles, always here all the time. It's perfect stuff. It's great. And then basic intro instructions for just in case. Especially if you're just starting off. Great thing to have. Alright, so as part of my review, there's a few things I kind of wanted to bring up. Just because the Vulcan brand is a little bit cheaper doesn't mean that it's garbage. Like I bought mine from Harbor Freight, and like that company itself, they've been stepping their game up a little bit over the last few years. But welder specifically, so as far as this welder is concerned, its longevity, its standard of work, all welders have to go through very specific regulations. A company cannot just build a welder, say it's a welder, and then just put it on the shelves. That's not allowed because they're dangerous. You can kill yourself, without a doubt, if you are an idiot. And so to kind of help prevent being killed, each company that builds a welder has to have it certified under certain regulations. So you don't have to be worried that you're going to go buy this welder and some random stuff is just going to start breaking on it and your whole house is going to go up in flames. Long story short, if you are looking for a welder that is not only going to help you learn how to weld, but it's also going to stay in your garage for the rest of your life, this welder, for the money, is the one to buy hands down. Are there other welders that achieve the same goals? Yes and no. I've done many hours of research before I bought this, and it's been a year, so I know there's a few more that have come out. Especially, and Vulcan had a few more come out. They now have one that's a 120 series, 120 strictly, for your smaller jobs, I guess you would say, and your DIYers. But that's essentially because you're not going to hook up a 220 in your garage or wherever you're going. But again, 120 versus 220 for what the average person is going to do with this, unless you're welding and effing building together, like, I think you're going to be good. You want to weld a trailer together, you're good. You want to weld some parts together to fix the kid's swing set or, you know, some tractor stuff, you're going to be okay with 120. And because there's certain ways to weld that will help you achieve practically the same thing. But we're not going to get into the style of welding. We're just going to assure you that you could go with either one and be okay. But then as far as this one is concerned, the reason why I went with the 220 versus just the straight 120 is because of the versatility as far as the attachments that came with it, the MIG, the TIG, the stick, and the exterior reel spool gun. Because this welder I know is going to grow with me. I'm not going to have to buy a welder that's made for dummies, because they have them. There's a few companies out there, you know who I'm talking about. And then once you get so advanced, then, I mean, that welder's essentially useless because now you have to go buy another welder because you want to take your welding farther, and the one you just spent, I don't know, $1,500, $2,500 on, is now essentially useless to you because it doesn't do what you want it to do anymore. So now you gotta go buy another welder. And then after that, if you get into more welding, well, then you got 3 damn welders sitting in your garage, and you use 1.5 of them. And for the amount of money you got in there, you can buy a lot of welding rod. So as far as getting what you're gonna pay for, this thing hands down, since I've had it in the last year, has paid for itself 4 or 5 times over, without a doubt. The jobs and the projects that I did with it, if I would have taken to a local, company to have welded, would be easily 10 times over what I paid for this welder. And all the wire that I used to learn, and all the tips I used to learn, and so on and so forth, like, hands down doesn't even compare. So at the end of the day, long story short, and review wise, like, I stand behind this welder 100%, and you are not going to go wrong even a little bit with buying this welder. Because like I said, it is going to grow with you and what you learn and your capabilities far beyond anything else. So my thoughts, probably not many others. I'm going to put a couple links in the video. One for this welder, obviously, and one for the 120 series that came out for this guy. Then I'm also going to throw a link in there to Chucky99. He's a YouTube video creator. And he's where I learned all of my welding stuff that I know now. And by far, depending on the way you learn, he's the one that I learned the most from and was able to understand the most. He's a very realist type person, as far as, like, he's gonna tell you flat out in the video, if you do this, you're an idiot. Like, you don't do this, you're not gonna succeed. If you do it this way, you're gonna succeed. Like, this is what you want to do. This is how you want to do it, and that there's no other way. That's the way I learn the best and understand stuff. So that all aside, as always, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for some more videos in the future.